Honestly, I'm loving that Kody's finally feeling left out for once. Like, it's actually hilarious watching him and Robyn sitting on the sidelines while Christine, David, and the OG-13 are living it up at the wedding of the decade. Kody's just now realizing he's not the center of the universe anymore. Chef's kiss. After all those years of him strutting around like he owned plural marriage, it's more than gratifying to see him benched. And really, who brings their ex to their wedding? Thank God Christine didn't have that kind of sense. Nobody wants to witness Kody executing his embarrassing cockroach-sprayed with Raid dance steps on the reception dance floor. Karma's clocked in and she's working overtime. Let's not forget, those original 3 wives were made to feel left out for years while Kody played favorites with Robyn. And all they ever got told when they said something was, "Stop being jealous, stop being dramatic." Now look who's feeling insecure and irrelevant. Yep, Kody. And can we just discuss Mary's tiny line regarding the Brown family extricating themselves? Like, girl, this isn't some ash pit from Mordor. It's a real party where people are dancing, smiling, and actually enjoying themselves for once. Nobody required Kody stumbling around asking for attention. The vibe at that wedding? Absolute freedom. And quite honestly, it made me cry witnessing the actual family, the one that embraced happiness, flourish without him. So, yeah, we have a lot to work on. Let's not waste time. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and let's get right into it. Okay, so Kody essentially said the quiet part loud. Standing in the driveway with his crybros, spewing their typical producer-fed garbage, he flat out says, "I'd rather repair my relationship with you than with my kids." Like, huh? Did you hear yourself, Kody? He's picking whoever he's speaking to over his own children. I mean, wow, way to say it loud. And then naturally he goes and plays the victim card as always. His marriage to Robyn is obviously on life support, and now he's clinging to straws. Attempts to salvage the last rags of that relationship, and all while outwardly declaring that saving it is more important than fixing anything with his kids? Crazy. Newsflash, Kody. Your children are not background noise. They are supposed to matter. But nope, there's just constant word vomit from this guy. No filter, no self-awareness, nothing. Then he pulls Madison in, telling her she's the one who informed Janelle that he didn't love her. And to really drive in the dysfunction, he quadruples down and essentially states he never loved any of his children. I wish I was dramatizing. And just when you think it can't get any worse, guess who shows up? Robyn, otherwise known as Stemminster of Manipulation, complaining that the children were fed lies by their mothers. Girl, stop. You're not deceiving anybody. But the icing on the cake? Kody actually says that this whole debacle hurts him and Robyn worse than it hurts the children. I straight up almost fell off my couch. Like, dude, are you all right? In all seriousness, this show has officially become a parody of itself. That outdoor fight scene between him and Robyn? So much fake, so much cringy, so obviously staged. Who even speaks like that in real life? And who was the wild child who called him an hole and accused him of brainwashing? My bet is on Hunter, because the truth is I adore that guy. And he's the only one I'd let get away with saying it to Kody's face. Some people believe it was Garrison. He certainly has the anger and brusqueness. Others claim it could have been Leon or even Peyton. But seriously? It could have been anyone. That's how far-reaching the anger is. And Kody? Rather than apologize or take responsibility, he resorts to a full-on shut it down, leaning on TLC to quiet the kids. Peyton even stated that the only reason Kody called was to shut him up from speaking the truth, not to check in, not to connect. Nope, just damage control. So yeah, the drama is all too real. And Kody is the thread that runs through it all. And when it comes to Robyn having to choose between Kody and her children? Oh, please, we already know how that story goes down. She chose her man a long time ago, and everyone else, including her own children, got left in the dust. Their children always come first, at least according to Robyn. She says it's all about balance, that her children are just as important to Kody. Yeah, sure, I call total BS on that. Robyn would definitely choose Kody over her own children any day of the week. Proof of this, she was willing to kick her kids out for disobeying her, or more accurately, Kody's, ridiculous coronavirus protocols. Honestly, it seems like she had children just to ensnare the men in her life and collect those checks. Recall that embarrassing purity message where she essentially dismissed her 3 oldest children? How does a mother cry and weep over the worst regret of her life, only to then tell us that regret was the man she married and had 2 more children with? That's not merely sad. It's emotionally cruel and almost abusive. Robyn is the worst mom ever. And let's be honest, she never actually loved Kody. She's a textbook grifter, just like her mother. I wouldn't put it past her to spin some abuse story down the road, playing victim and besmirching his name, just as she did to her first husband after divorce. Narcissists are predators in decision-making. Robyn infantilizes her children to maintain control because she's afraid they'll grow up and abandon her. And you can be sure they're trapped imitating her theatrical, attention-grabbing crying merely to gain a small amount of her approval. And on top of that, she insists on absolute obedience to Kody because stroking his ego is her job. She's with Kody for the easy celebrity and money, devoted only to her self-serving needs. I just had an aha moment concerning that peck at the close of the wedding special between Robyn and Kody. It took it hitting me later, but all that kissy face stuff? Complete FU to the rest of the wives. Remember those previous episodes getting big about keeping PDA away from prying eyes? Yeah, that pucker was Robyn giving a, "Ha! Now I can pucker up on him all day I want. He's all mine." Yeah, classy, right? Seriously, if that was her grand power play, she bombed big time. I highly doubt any of the other wives watched that kiss and thought, "Wow, I'm so jealous." Nope. It was more of a control move than a victory, like she kissed him just to silence him. You know, treating him like a dog with a clicker, redirecting whenever she wants. And don't even mention the way it was staged. How did Kody have a clue to wave away the camera with his eyes closed? That was 100% scripted. But the best part is, Robyn still believes she won. Newsflash. Nobody's jealous, nobody's impressed. She didn't win Jack. Honestly, I believe we all cheered for Christine because her requirements were pretty basic. Just be loved. Even at her over-the-top moments, such as when she pitched a fit about Kody selecting Robyn's dress, it came down to one thing: wanting love. The handwriting was on the wall from the beginning. Kody didn't merely love Robyn more, he loved her in place of the others. His love wasn't split down the middle, it was taken away. Sad, isn't it? Christine didn't request a mile-long list of things, only a little niceness, some love, and that her kids be treated the same. But no, Kody wouldn't do it. By the time the cameras began rolling, he was well into ignoring or outright rejecting his wives, viewing love as some sort of limited suffix deal. And spoiler alert, Robyn wasn't the greatest gas for his love tank, because once he'd spent time with her, there was hardly enough left to give anyone else. When questioned about loving his other wives, Kody's strongest defense was some stale loyalty speech that hardly scratched the surface of how little he cared. All Christine hoped for was what Robyn received: kindness and understanding. I believe Kody when he said he never loved Christine. He required a third wife, found one, and Christine simply hoped for the best. Be the lovely third wife, produce some babies, and make it to heaven. Sure, Kody loved her as much as he could, but the love was saved for Robyn because he fell in love with her. Rather than hoping that love was going to pop up with the other girls, He resentfully ended up resenting all his wives, particularly Christine, who had the nerve to express feelings. To Kody, who never loved her, Christine's feelings were just a nuisance. And yes, he never expressed that love on the show. Perhaps he acted it before Robyn came on, but fans never saw it. It's sad because Christine sacrificed so much for all the children, not only her own. In the meantime, Robyn, or should I say, Sowen never lifted a finger to help and was too busy calling out kids that weren't even hers, soaking up all of Kody's attention. Oh, and let's not forget how Sowen drained the OG wives' time and money with that MSVC mess, even sabotaging Mary's college dreams and legal marriage. Gross. Honestly, I'm so glad the OG3 have moved on from all that. Oh, sweet baby Jesus, Kody desperately needs therapy. Like, he might as well be the poster child for why therapy exists. I'm all for mental health. Get help, talk to a professional, figure yourself out. Maybe then he could stop clinging to all these ridiculous issues he has with his own kids. Spoiler, he really needs to grow up. I don't recall the exact words he used, but in Vegas, he essentially said to Nancy, their therapist, that everything is never his fault. Responsibility? No way, not on his watch. And here's the kicker. I believe he's weaponized therapy as his go-to excuse to avoid responsibility and steer clear of any actual uncomfortable dialogue. Breaking news. Therapy isn't about never getting triggered. It's about figuring out how to deal with it when it occurs. But no, he flat out told me he won't engage in any conversations that could trigger him. So apparently, it's on his kids to walk on eggshells around their own emotions. Yeah, that's healthy. Seeing his incessant back and forth with Robyn, I couldn't help but think, this guy is screaming for help but has zero idea how to actually receive it. He realizes something's not right on the most fundamental level, but how to fix it? Nope, no idea. While that, Robyn just keeps prodding him to do better, for crying out loud, and this actually looks pitiful and clueless. What else would you predict? Robyn is sure religion is the magic solution. And Kody? He's already stated that isn't doing it for him. It is just a sad, hopeless confusion. Two adult men allegedly grown up, but absolutely lost when it comes to accepting maybe, just maybe, therapy might actually do some good. Now, about the Brown family's money management, or lack thereof. I'm pretty new to following the Browns and slowly catching up on their seasons, but one thing hits me like a brick. These people are absolutely terrible with money. If they were really strapped for cash, why would they build massive mansions in Vegas and then Coyote Pass? Plus, choose to live in pricey places like Vegas or Flagstaff. It's like observing a masterclass in financial irresponsibility. They're always going on about paying for their kids' college, but their choices scream the opposite. Buying a smaller plot in a quiet town and building modest homes would make that way more doable. Yet here they are, living large like there's no tomorrow. Honestly, I'm as flabbergasted as Kody is about human emotions, which, if you've seen the show, means a lot. My bet is they went to Vegas because that's where Robyn's family is. Then, surprise, surprise, they moved again because Robyn's son needed to be close to his college. I also suspect in my mind that not everything of the kids' college education was paid. Oh, and don't forget those storage units they're constantly renting. Why keep paying for stuff they haven't touched in years? Seriously, why do they need so much stuff? Somehow, after every terrible financial move we've seen, Janelle still gets to claim the financial whiz title. Give me a break. Come on, I do believe they're broke. Sure, they get paid for the show, but after Kody and Robyn get their cuts, there isn't much left. It's a large family with poor money choices, largely Kody's. So even with the cash from reality TV, it's no surprise the OG3 have to hustle their MLM work. So Garrison called Harrison out for having a tantrum over his parents coddling a narcissistic whelp. Unfortunately, he was spot on. Rather than commiserating with Harrison, the Browns got all self-righteous. Classic. Talking about children, let's discuss Saul. He's really the least limelighted child as the seasons go on. Prior to Aerie, Saul was essentially an ever-present accessory, granted constantly in Robyn's arms or balanced on Kody's shoulders. However, after Aerie joined, Saul literally lost his identity and became a part of the dreaded solinary duo. Attempting to put a finger on his personality is impossible because Aerie's just so much. She's a human exclamation point, whereas Saul is more of a period, or perhaps a comma at best. The atmosphere I get? Kody's just not that into Saul the same way he is with his older boys. Those men are all macho soldier types, just the thing to feed Kody's ego. Luckily, Saul has Robyn, because if he had any other mommy, he'd likely be left to look out for himself. Kody obviously fawns over his little girls when they are young. Nothing like a little adoration from your daughters to keep that ego puffed up and healthy. Now, Garrison? He knew this whole mess was a long time coming. Of course, children shouldn't have to discipline their siblings, but let's not act like the Browns don't rely on their older children to care for the little ones. Kody and Janelle can't have it both ways, making Logan responsible for waking, feeding, and essentially raising the younger children, while Kody's off sleeping with another wife and then shaking his finger like, "Hey, you shouldn't correct them." Recall that video in which Garrison, a teen at the time, stepped in when a younger sibling had thrown a fist at his sister? He was simply doing what any sensible older brother, babysitter, or teacher would do, speaking out against bad behavior. I could never figure out why Garrison got in trouble for that. Unless I missed some real hitting, I'm solidly on Teen Garrison's side on this one. So here's the latest installment in Kody's ongoing Heartbreak Chronicles. Spoiler alert. I just don't get it. He's complaining to Robyn in that torturously drawn-out scene where she suddenly questions her respect for him, or whatever vague, confusing line she blurts out before catching herself. And what does Kody do? Drops the classic, "My heart is breaking." Geez, this man never loved Mary. He hardly put up with Christine and Janelle. She hung around longer, but also cut out in the end. So, was he ever really in love with either of them? Apparently not. And now his heart is broken over women he never loved. I'm sure at this point, these two believe they are soap actors with their constant melodrama and excessive shenanigans. Come on, this is a scene obviously rehearsed 1,000 times, just fishing for sympathy. The classic "sacrifices I made for you, all for naught," sob fest again. And if you're fluent in Kody, you're fully aware of what he means by "my heart breaking." It's actually, "my narc supply is gone." Who else is he going to get his supply from now? Yeah, the actual heartbreak is losing his meal tickets. Mark my words, the more time goes by and those large family gatherings, the boisterous, messy, wonderful celebrations that keep a family together, continue to occur without him, it's going to get to Kody deep. He already gave us a glimpse when he declared, "It was my club, and I got kicked out of it." The guy's an attention-seeking, dramatic extrovert. And it's killing him on the inside to see Christine, who's the center of all these family holidays, prosper while he's stuck home with awful Robyn. So yeah, his heartbreak is essentially all about cash drying up. All three women were present to support the show and his lifestyle. Honestly, I'm surprised it took Christine's departure for Mary to finally leave too. If I were Mary, I'd have walked the moment I discovered about Robyn's debt, and how all of us had to pay for her new home. I hated Robyn from day one. She always acted like the show was about her. Remember that painfully corny church confession? "He took my special thing away?" Yeah, that should have been the moment everyone was like, "I'm out. This chick is clueless." Let me know in the comments what you think. Don't forget to like that like button and subscribe to this channel. See you in the next video. Take care and lots of love to all of you.